I think I sold that too. Back in the day I used to sell my games that I stopped playing. Best sequel, Tekken 3. I still do the same thing, but not as many. Best way to destroy a successful franchise. C. The Contra Adventure. Worst ending, Quest 64. Best ending, Metal Gear Solid. Best intro, Resident Evil 2. Yeah, that was a good intro. I have that game. Best reason to use a mute button, Gex 64. Best special effects, Metal Gear Solid. Most improved, Tecmo. Well, they've always had good games. Tecmo Wrestling for the NES, Tecmo Bowl. I guess they had a downtime, didn't they? Game most likely to take years to finish, Zelda, the Ocarina of Time. System Wars. Let's see, was there some numbers? No. Games have changed a little bit. Warzone is on there. I used to own that. Crash Bandicoot is on that. Need for Speed 3, Triple Play 99. I think I had a Triple Play for the system. Don't know if it was 99 or not. Nitro. Nitro scored higher than Warzone? Never played that one. I don't think. Tekken 3. Resident Evil 2 is the new #1 game for the PlayStation. Still got high scores. 9, 9s, 9s, and 8s. Top 10. Oh, these weren't the top 10 PlayStation games? These are the top 10 selling PS games. Okay, the top PlayStation games. Devil Dice. Never played that one. I might have to do that. Get that someday. That was a good puzzle game, supposedly. Point Blank. Maybe a good shooting game. They used to brag about Point Blank in these magazines back in the day. I never got around to trying it. Castlevania Symphony of the Night only made #4 in this list. Resident Evil 2, Tekken 3, Metal Gear Solid #1. Interview with a Sony guy. King of the Hill. Sony executive. I don't have time to read that. Sorry, guys. Let's skip around here. 64 not scoring as high. No surprise there. Ocarina of Time #1. And looks like the games are all the same in the list. I gotta skip around some here. Down, but never out. Well, it is true. Look at the Wii. They finally came back with something great with the Wii. Game Boy Pocket. The Nomad. End of the line for what systems? The NES is now out of here. That probably means the Genesis is now out of here. The games are the same in the list, so we're not going to go over those again. They show the Genesis 3, which is cool. The Saturn, gone. Goodbye, Saturn. It's been nice knowing you. The best-selling system of all time evolves again. This is an article. We gotta go on. We gotta move on. We gotta move on. We're into the year 2000 now. I wish I was reading some real awards instead of these stupid things. What's going on here? Where's all the awards? Oh no. Is this issue different? I don't see no awards in this one. Oh, here we go. We had to go full section into the book just to get to the awards. Best sequel, Soul Calibur. Vegas Vaporware, the Nuon, N-O-N-U-O-N. Before PlayStation 2, Dolphin, Xbox, or even Dreamcast, there was a Nuon, also known as Project X. At one time, Nuon was looked upon as a step away from current consoles, PlayStation, Saturn, and 64. At the time, its use of DVD and core technology looked good, but now, as the next generation of consoles looks close for 2000, Nuon has seemingly been surpassed. VM Labs has kept silent about the machine, showing only 2 games, Iron Soldier 3 and Tempest 3000 at E3 1999 in Los Angeles. The company's once revolutionary use of DVD has now been surpassed by at least Sony, who will release PlayStation 2 in March 2000. As well, when the new one will be released, well, no one really knows. The first Toshiba DVD players equipped with new technology set to hit in 2000. By that time, will it make any impact on gaming? Instead, Nuon will more likely be left to interactive educational titles targeted at the mainstream and not the hardcore. Maybe it'll only be successful and maybe it won't. But by then, we'll have known about Project X for 2 years and we'll have nothing to show for it. Interesting, huh? I like reading those ones. Most hype, most delayed, Perfect Dark. A lot of 64 games were always delayed back in the day. It took them forever to get some games out. I remember reading that in the magazines all the time. Best party game, You Don't Know Jack. I own that. It's better on the PC. I recommend anybody out there buying You Don't Know Jack the Ride. You will laugh your butt off. I'm serious. Great game. Most ridiculously expensive game, Donkey Kong 64 for $70. I'm not going to read all that. Most number of sequels within a sequel. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Retro game that should have stayed retro, Centipede. Never played that weird 3D version of Centipede. Kind of been turned off by it, by looking at the reviews and things. Worst use of a license, Superman. I think that's Superman 64, right? I bought that recently just because it's the worst game of all time. I just had to own it. It's just one of those things. Coolest Japanese game, Pepsi Man, huh? It's a game that'll never come out here, it says. That sounds interesting too. Yeah, I bought Superman 64 just because I wanted to own the worst game of all time and see how good I could do with the worst game of all time. You know, it's really not the worst game of all time. I know there's worse games out there. Best reason for Kryptonite, Superman. I'm going to skip some of these games that should have been the coolest but was crap. Superman. Game franchise we're most sick of, Mortal Kombat. Most worthless accessory, the Dance Performer. I have to skip some of these. Biggest comeback, Sonic the Hedgehog. Hardest game, cannot pronounce it. Choaniki, Great Brother. Most blatant ripoff, Donkey Kong 64, ripping off Banjo-Kazooie, ripping off Mario 64. Biggest loser in this year's awards, Superman. The Dreamcast hits the awards here. It hits the shelf. Its top games, there's top selling games. Well, let's see. It's probably out of focus here. Air Force Delta, Power Stone, NFL Blitz 2000, Hydro Thunder, Blue Stinger, House of the Dead 2, Ready to Rumble, Soul Calibur, number 2, Sonic Adventure, number 1, NFL 2K. They give it 8.5, 8.0, 9.0. I kind of disagree with that. Wasn't this like one of the best systems, best underrated systems out there? Some people even said it was better than the PS2, just no one bought the darn thing because of their bad reputation. Number 1 game, Soul Calibur, Sonic Adventure, Toy Commander. Toy Commander's fun. You get 2 people together, that's fun. House of the Dead 2, those graphics still look awesome, even with today's Xbox and Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 out there. You pop in House of the Dead 2, and you would still be blown away by the graphics. Same thing with Ready to Rumble 2 for the Dreamcast. I was blown away by that when I first seen it, and I'd probably still be blown away. I don't see what all the hype is with today's systems. They're just not for me. It's all graphics. Who cares? PlayStation. I'm gonna skip around a little bit. We're going into part 4 here soon. Still gets high scores for the PlayStation. Let's see. Final Fantasy VIII is now their top game. Resident Evil 3